My name's Ben. We're here at 1399 Pacific Street in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, and a couple of us here are starting our rent strike today. We did a banner drop a little while ago, as you can see. Cancel the rent, Cuomo. One of the big demands of this movement, of this statewide movement, of this citywide movement, is to have the rent canceled. We don't believe that anyone should have to pay during this crisis. It's a global pandemic. I think it's around like 1.2 million New Yorkers, of people in New York City alone, lost employment in April. And it's absolutely absurd that people are expected to pay rent when they don't have money for food or medical supplies or anything else.
Do you guys have a tenants union before, or is this your first sort of a collective action in the building?
No, so we did not have a tenants association. We started talking, I think in March about the crisis and kind of what we wanted to do about it. And as a result, we had a lot of conversations, a lot of deliberations. We had some socially distant meetings, to discuss things. And throughout the month of April, it kind of came together. And now we have a tenants association. It's 1399 Pacific Street Tenants Association. And we're trying to move forward whatever we do collectively, because we know that the landlord and landlords and bosses in general always try to divide and conquer. And so, the only strength that we have is together. And so we're coming at everything collectively. It just felt like this is something, for a variety of reasons that we have to do. Some of us have been, laid off or unemployed, times, and we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks or a month. And there are also a lot of other people out there that have been in these precarious, situations before this crisis even existed. I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that this crisis, that the housing crisis in this country and in New York City existed before, the COVID-19, pandemic, because of the landlord system and because of the kind of greed and profits of landlords and bosses generally. So there already was a crisis, and I think this has kind of been, like it has in so many other sectors, a catalyst to really demonstrate just how broken everything is and how broken this system is. So, I think this is a first step of many, but I think, moving beyond the landlord system and beyond kind of this system of private property where you have people who don't work, who don't, do anything except own property, and that's, they live off of that. And I think, there are people who own hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of buildings, and that's the income they make. It's off the work of working New Yorkers. And I think this is a step by, this massive statewide and nationwide rent strike is one step in moving towards, ending this exploitative system. I think, it's okay to be nervous about it. It's okay to be stressed. It is confronting power and confronting landlords, and putting your housing, at risk is a big decision, but that there's a movement behind it, that there are people all over the city and state who are already involved. There are organizations. I live here in Crown Heights, and the CHTU, the Crown Heights Tenants Union, is an absolutely incredible member-run organization where there's so much information sharing, knowledge, and kind of collective power and solidarity in that. That you're not alone and that a lot of people are doing this. I think at a more basic level, just starting to have conversations with neighbors and I think the human element of just seeing how people are, checking in on people, seeing if they're okay, if they need anything, building some community that way. And then starting to have conversations just about what we can do to, Happy May Day! About building power, and what that looks like, about building tenant power. So I think the first small steps are just having those conversations and reaching out, and then from there seeing where it goes and building tenant power.